Hey everybody, Britsky here. I am a longtime World of Warcraft player. Oh, we're going to start my stopwatch here so we can keep the timer going. So I'm going to show you my ZF farm. I use a combination of Cold and Flame Strike, which seems to be, to me, the fastest, easiest way. I know I've seen some people use like Blizzard. They try to maybe pull the mobs, glitch them, and then try to get them all at once. I find Resistor a little bit more trouble. This is based off of a Cone of Cold kite that I learned when I was 42, and I did 42 through, I believe it was 52 in here. Little harder to get here. You kind of have to run, you glitch right here, and you go through. And you pretty much just use Cone of Cold. So Cone of Cold and Strafe, and try to Cone of Colds every 10 seconds. There's a talent name called Permafrost, which increases the slow by 3. So if you look at my Cone of Colds, the tooltip's down in the bottom right. But basically, it's a 10-second cooldown, and it is a 11-second slow. So there's a 1 second there where you can use your ability again and get a full 10 seconds of slow. And what's nice there is you can actually kind of cheat the 5-second rule, and you will gain mana back, a little bit of mana, so you don't really lose too much. So first things first, I come in, I loot, and I engage Witch Doctor. You'll see that they yelled. This is one of the pats that you have to kill, so I like to just let it pull while I'm doing it, so I don't have to run after it. Alright, Witch Doctors, they do heal, so I'm just going to counterspell that real quickly. I would recommend a stop cast macro, just to try to make it. It's a pretty fast one, so you don't want to get caught with your pants down. Although, really, you could just let it heal and just blast through it at 60, not a problem. Alright, so there is a second pat that comes through here. I'm going to wait just a little bit while I kind of show you my talents real quickly, but I'm not going to wait too long because I can get the pull, and if something happens, we're going to polymorph it as we go. So, talent-wise, we're going to be looking at Permafrost, and then you want to Ice Block and Ice Barrier. After that, I focus on Shatter because that's what my Flame Strike combo is going to do, and I put talents into, you know, improved Cone of Colds, increased frost damage, that sort of stuff. Arcane Tree, 5 out of 5 concentration, just helps a little bit with mana efficiency, but not too bad. Alright, so this guy's a little slow. I'm going to cast a Ice Barrier. Oh, there he is right here, so that's the one you want. So we might as well wait, just to make life a little bit more easy and simple. I also see my buffs are a little low, so we'll just go reapply those real quickly. Alright. So while he's waiting to come up, quick look at my gear. People say you need 3k health points and 6k mana to be able to farm. Not necessarily true. Promise you, I was doing this at 42 very terribly, and by the time I was 44 through 48, I had it down and we were crushing it. So even at level 60, pretty easy. I got some of the Eagle Intellect Stam gear. Right now I do have 5 out of 8 Arcanist, but the key pieces that you probably want to get if you want to be real efficient, Rune of the Dawn for Argent Dawn rep gets me plus 48 spell damage against Undead, which all the Skeleton Graves are. And I would really just make sure you have a minor speed to increase to boots. Pretty cheap enchant, and it's really going to help you out on this front here. So looks like we got one more Witch Doctor, so we'll just kill that one real quickly. What are you resisting for, fool? Get out of here. Oh, get out of there. Alright, this one's being a pain. That's okay. We are 60, and he is a joke at 60. So, when I was 42 and 44 trying to kill those mobs, it was a pain in the butt. Absolute pain in the butt. Almost took like everything I had to get it. A lot of kiting, and you know, if I missed a countering a flash shield there, it was a little tough. So, first things first, before we pull, I try to get Ice Barrier up to 40 seconds on the cooldown. That lets me, when I break my Ice Block, I can cast another one just in case I need the health thing. So a couple different ways you can do it. I like to get these 3 first, and then I go down this way. Not the end of the world. If you miss one of these, you can always just kind of send it back, glitch it, kill it. Really not a problem on it. I usually come back to the middle, and I'm going to Ice Block here. Ice face perpendicular, that way when I break this, they're not going to hit me in the back and daze me. Alright, so I've got one kind of circling around. He's going to hit my thing. I'm going to see if I can get him with my... Yeah, there we go. Alright, so now that I've got them, I'm just going to basically go in circles. Anybody who resists will come hit me, hit Ice Armor, and get a slow on them. Alright, so now they all are there. For this pull, I'm going to actually just show you how I use the Flame Strike. So we're going to Frost Nova, and then we'll go in the other direction. So Flame Strike, and at the same time, we're going to hit the Cone of Cold and get some big crits for both things because all my targets are frozen. All right, one resisted. He's going to get hit and circle back up. You might see me doing a little stutter step forward and back. I did not have back pedal bound before, but with leeway, it's a real thing here. If mobs are moving, they are going to have a much greater range and chance to hit you. And when you're low levels, you die doing it. So I would say if you're going to do it at 42, 44, 48, whatever it is, make sure you do that little stutter step. That will make the mobs stop or stand still, and then you don't have to worry about them hitting you, because one little hit when you're that low, you are dead. It's very frustrating. When I was learning it, I was trying to pull everything like I am here, and it took me forever, and I died so much. But I was still getting XP, still getting good drops. I would recommend just grabbing, a couple graves initially, and then as you get more and more used to it, you'll get more and more. Honestly, when I was low level, I left ZF with like 620 gold, and it was like levels 50 through 52 or 54, I forget, whatever it was. I was getting basically a whole level done in 2 hours just farming in here, and it certainly wasn't as proficient as I am now. So it's a really good XP farm. You're gonna have to be a little careful, a little slower, but right now it's still just my favorite place for getting gold. All right. So one thing, normally right after that pull, I go ahead and cold snap, and I'm gonna hit my evocate just to use the cooldown. I like it to be up later, a little bit later, so we'll get that going here. All right, my mana's back up. All right, I'm gonna throw my ice barrier back up. That way, when I go back to pull, we'll be good to go. All right, so I'm just missing a little bit of mana. I'm just gonna grab that out real quickly. For this pull, I'm going to try to just use Cone of Cold to show you some of the mana efficiency of it. And it's not as fast as doing it the other way, but it is extremely mana efficient. Just because you get to regen some mana by not casting until like every 10 and a half seconds. All right. I like to come around to here. We're gonna ice block. That guy comes in. You can make a macro, cancel Ice Block Aura, and cast Frost Nova. Probably a little bit more efficient, but I'm being lazy here, so we're not going to do it. All right, so we got them all. Now basically we just cycle. So you can... I like to look at the cooldown of the Cone of Cold slow on them, so 10, 9, 8. It's a second different from your Cone of Cold down here, but either one, whatever you want to monitor, is going to help you. The key is just to wait till the very end, stutter step, and get them again. All right. Some of the obstacles do make it a little hard to hit things. Nice thing about this is they really get grouped up tightly. You can see they're pretty much all stacked on each other, all getting hit at the same. So the mob control is really easy. When you're using Frost Nova, sometimes you will have them break at random times, so it's a little harder to keep them all grouped up. This way, the only time that they really lose their group is once they start to die. If the lower ones get a little slower, the higher health ones are a little faster, so that's where the circling comes in, because it keeps them nice and tight regardless. All right, we're not too far off. We'll try to get this guy here. You can always throw in a couple wands if you want as well. Once you kind of get a little slower, you get a little bit more room. So we're gonna throw a couple more, try to get the higher health guys. All right, and I think one more should finish them off, and hopefully that'll be good. Perfect. So yeah, right now I've got 35 out of 5,900 mana. Didn't have to use a mana pot, my robe, or any gems at all. So it's a pretty straightforward process. So anybody who tells you that you need 6k mana, they're probably just not doing this technique. They're probably using Blizzard or something else like that. Blizzard's powerful. It's a strong ability, but it is mana heavy. So you got to make sure that you have the right abilities for that. All right, let's do some more looting. So I like to do these two pulls with Ice Block. The third, I don't really care to have it up. The thing about it is I've messed up and pulled without having Ice Block up or Cold Snap up, and you kind of end up doing it. You just take some hits. You go through an entire ice barrier. Maybe you have to use a cheap health pot. This farm's nice because you actually get superior health pots and you get greater mana pots as you do it. so it's not too bad. This one, the key is to just kind of try to keep them grouped up. You're going to get kind of 2 waves, one from the first and one from the second. You might see what I'm talking about when we go to pull these here. So we're going to go get those. I didn't quite wait for 40 seconds, so hopefully they don't beat me too much, but that's not the end of the world. So first wave, second comes in, and that's when I get them all there. So yeah, I've got 3 seconds on the ice barrier. Not the end of the world. I'm just going to get my first Frost Nova in, and we'll throw it up again just to play it safe. All right. Nothing like dying when you know better, and it's completely your fault. So don't be that guy. All right, so that guy came back. We're going to start using my Frost Nova Flame Strike again. We'll get him a little bit more grouped. Hit it. Sometimes just change directions just for the fun of it. If you position your Flame Strike right, you can kind of kite them and keep them in it so they get extra ticks on it, which is always fun. All right, one more there. They're still nice and tight, so we're going to go do this. So I do it a little off to the side and kind of the path that I'm going to take. But it's nice getting those crits. These guys are kind of low. I'm probably going to throw maybe a couple of these up there just to kind of get it going, and that'll finish them off. All right, cool. So that is all the graves. So at this point, I mean, you could stop if you wanted to. That technically would be the shallow graves farm, but you can also kill Witch Doctor, which is going to get you a little bit more golds per hour, in my opinion. It takes about 30 to 45 seconds now that I'm got a little bit better gear. Sometimes it was about a minute before. You know, what's nice about this, though, about Witch Doctor here is that he can drop the staff, which is almost 3 gold. If you are enchanting, you can disenchant and get, I think it's small radiant shards, so like a Jumunza Grips, which is a 44 silver item or something like that. My server, it sells, the shards sell for like 2 to 3 gold depending on the day of the week. Alright, so we're going to go over here and work on Witch Doctor. Just while I'm here, I've done this once last night, once earlier today, so you get some low value items, cracked pottery, these crusted bandages, troll sweats, these stacks of clubs, like this one here, 2 gold, 2 silver and 60 copper. Low value items, they're just going to clog up your bag, especially if you're doing a lot of runs. So I have a macro or a script, so when I use it, I just click it once, and it removes all of those low value items, so you just get caught with the good stuff here. Alright, so I'll put one of these up. Witch Doctor, straightforward, just spam Frost Nova, throw a barrier up. If he spawns mobs, they can just beat on the barrier. You might have to put a second one up at worst case. It's Berserk here. Yeah, now we're raiding. This is what I do all day in MC. Alright, yeah, so there's the ward, which is going to summon some skeletons that I don't care about. He will throw a heal up there, so just counterspell it. Once again, if you miss it, not the end of the world. But yeah, you can't really do this at 60, so it just is what it is. Alright. There we go, so he's down. I'm gonna kill the skeletons off. Oh, yeah, so the Vexing Cane, yeah, 2 gold, 81 silver. We're gonna keep that, and that will be vendor trash. Alright, the other thing I like to come in and do is go and kill the Scarabs here, especially if you are selling carries or if you're trying to boost a friend or a guildie, you want to get some extra experience, this is the way to do it. Usually, if I'm fast, Evocate will be up. This time I was a little slow to hit it. Usually I want to try to do it right after I get that kill on the first pack. That way it's done in time, because that was, you know, a 20-30 seconds difference between when you loot and when you finish that pack. This time we're just going to drink. Mana is disposable to a mage, so I'm going to throw another ice barrier up and just wait on this a second. So I like to pull, here's Theka, however you want to say it. I like to start the pull right in front of her, or him rather, I don't know, they, whatever they are. Essentially, I'm just going to gather everything up, and when I have it, this is going to let me, a little blink there, get me some space, because these guys can hit a little hard. So when I get to this side, it means I'm going to ice block and do the AoE like right behind it, so it just makes life a little bit easier for me. All right. I find this pull to be one of the harder ones. I tend to mess it up a little bit more than anything else. I think their swing timers are a little harder to see, especially right now. I don't have any headphones on or any sound. I've turned that down, so it's, I mean, you're probably going to get it on the video, but makes it a little hard to not have any of the indicators. Thankfully, at 60, you don't really have to pay too much attention. So just come in here, loot all these guys, see if you get anything good. You can get some epics. I know I've got a guildie who got 2 underworld bans, like within, you know, I think a day or two, which is just crazy. I think I've got like maybe 200, 250 clears if you count some of the lower level ones. And I haven't seen one myself, but that's just luck. I just farmed out a Cindercloth cloak pattern last night, which is a 3% drop from a Thurician Firewalker, and that dropped on my first pull. And it took me about, someone else was farming there too, and it took me about 5 minutes to actually have one of the mobs to drop it, and I killed it. So that's just RNG for you. All right, so we're gonna just run to the back to the beginning and reset. That's pretty much it, just everything I do to come in here. You're gonna get a lot of Mage Weave, and you're gonna get a lot of Silk Cloth. Just in case you've never ran into this before, Mage Weave, if you make bandages, so you don't want to make the heavy Mage Weave bandages, you're going to make the Mage Weave bandages, the one that costs 1, and a stack of 20 Mage Weave cloth will turn into 80 silver. So don't sell your cloth, and well, do what you want to do, but if you go on the AH, you can, you know, typically don't sell it under 80 silver, otherwise during your downtime you can make band-aids. And then with silk cloth, I do heavy silk, so a stack of this of band-aids will turn into 40 silver. So I don't sell more than a stack of silver or a stack of silk weave for anything under 40. Sometimes I do just move them. Time is money, so if you want to get your farm in, you just throw them up on the auction house, but you can send them off to a bank vault, and then when you're waiting for a raid, you can come in. So you know, that was about 16 minutes, full reset. We're ready to go again, and that's pretty much the ZF farm. I do about 12 to 15 minute runs. Get 4 in there. You can't really do 5, but that's it. Just rinse and repeat, and you get the efficiency down. A little slower on this one because explaining some stuff, but that's the basics of it, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll look to make some more videos for you guys. Appreciate it.